It's been a hard couple of years in education.
It's an issue ravaging the nation.
We are trying to overcome some of those things that have happened.
2020 was not only a stressful year for the public, but the education system as a whole.
Healthcare workers and education got hit really hard, and unfortunately, it caused many to leave the profession.
As the COVID-19 pandemic continues to unfold, one issue is still recurring: a nationwide teacher shortage. This is Adam Piasecki, president of the Ithaca Teachers Association. I spoke with Piasecki to learn more about this issue and what progress needs to happen in order to change it for good. Statewide, the Ithaca City School District is known as a small city school district, but the numbers tell a different story for staff. In Ithaca, there are 8 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, 1 high school, and 1 alternative school, with 600 ITA members district-wide. Piasecki, who's been a teacher in Ithaca for 20 years, said that it's a lot of work to be the president for an organization of this many people.
It's a very big role. It makes for long days and a lot to do on top of running the association. But I've been happy to do this for the membership for the last, this is my 11th year.
For Piasecki, the teacher shortage was not a surprise. Piasecki is a member of the state's teachers union and said data from years ago showed that this was forthcoming due to education departments shifting and staff members leaving.
Probably about a year before the unanticipated pandemic, there was state data in New York State about roughly a third of the active teachers were eligible to retire between 2020 and 2025, give or take.
The Ithaca City School District saw 90 resignations within the last year and a half and currently has 30 open positions. This is only a fraction of the state's teaching shortage, as New York is expected to need 180,000 teachers in the next decade. Piasecki said there's a variety of reasons behind the teaching shortage, ranging from burnout, the implementation of digital tools, and climate and morale.
So it can vary depending on who you talk to, and that's where I think conversations really need to happen with central administration and the school board as to what they're going to do to make sure that there's recruitment and retention efforts to fill these vacancies, because that's what is the best for the students in this community.
When it comes to students, Piasecki says some class sizes have increased due to a lack of teaching professionals. While he knows this can add to his workload as president, it's all about hiring qualified people for the students. These qualified people can be certified teaching professionals and even non-certified individuals.
I'm also working on, different types of arrangements and plans. The main one is making sure that we have qualified people who maybe know their content area or know how to work with children of a certain age, even if they're not certified. So there is some kind of patchwork and agreements being made between the association and the district to kind of do some Band-Aid situations for this year. So this has helped so many people being able to maybe decide whether to get a teaching degree or to bridge them from not having it to having it maybe in the next year or two. Both of those types of things that have been put into place this fall are kind of like a way of forming a pipeline to have people apply down the road. Doesn't necessarily solve this year's issue because they might still be a year or 2 or 3 years away from being certified, but you got to think ahead a little.
Piasecki is working with both the ITA and NYSUT on coming up with these solutions and more to address this issue, but he's not alone.
The state of New York does now finally recognize your incredible contributions, and we're going to start making up for a lot of lost time here, my friends.
Education is a top priority in Governor Kathy Hochul's administration, so much so that $31.5 billion is now going towards education and teachers. On top of this, the governor plans to accelerate the teacher certification process, provide incentives to attract individuals to the profession, and just on October 24th, enacted a 2-year, $30 million state residency program for K-12 educator candidates.
I want to show our priorities because we need to invest the money in our teachers, our schools, because ultimately we're investing in our children.
Offering support services to educators is also a priority for both the governor and Piasecki.
There's a lot of initiatives in the education standards now around what we call SEL, which is the social emotional learning, and we as classroom teachers need the expertise of mental health professionals in order to meet those expectations and goals.
The Biden-Harris administration is also working to support educators in the country and assist school districts with this problem. The top goal being to ensure that teachers are being paid a livable and competitive wage, something Piasecki said is a huge issue across the educational system.
Wages have always been an issue, and I can see them probably being for a long time now. They shouldn't be having to have 2 and 3 jobs on top of their teaching profession, which is long days and a lot of work as it is, which is causing a lot of the burnout. We need to make sure that there's an actual competitive salary for that.
With all these solutions presented, the issue, however, is not expected to resolve itself just yet.
Given the data we've talked about, with less people coming out of undergrad and grad programs being eligible to be hired as certified teachers, I'm kind of, the realist in me is that I don't think this is going to solve itself in a year. We need to make sure that when people are saying, like, I do 12, 13-hour days during the week, I also can't be doing that all day Saturday and Sunday. So it's a work-life balance, and we need to make sure that the profession changes a little bit so that way that doesn't exist. We need people committed to this. We need great bus drivers, we need great custodians, we need custodians, registered nurses, and even office clerical staff. We need all people in these positions to make these schools run. Years and years ago, there was comments by people that you were, one of 300 applicants for 5 elementary positions, and that's no longer the case. I would love to see a time where people are striving to go into this field, and they're working as hard as they can to say, I want to be, in that position.
As far as what the future holds, Piasecki says he hopes that the education system can get back to a place where a teacher does not have to worry about taking a sick day because there's no substitutes or additional resources available. It also comes to ensuring that educators don't have to work every single day and have balance in their lives. Piasecki is also encouraging those not directly connected to the education system to pay attention to their local school districts and what is happening within their school board.
Have to necessarily be a parent to be involved, right? I think there's different community organizations that you can get involved in to make sure that teachers and SRPs are getting exactly what they need, and making sure their students are being their needs are being met. Making sure that we are working with the community, make sure we get great people and advocates on our school boards.
For ICTV Reports, I'm Jordan Broking.